Thursday answers. Question 1. Write in the missing numbers. Well, if we look at the numbers that we have, I've not got a number here. Here, I've got, if we look at just the digits, 1, 4, 3, 5, 6, 1, 4, 3, 5, 6, 1, 4, 3, 5, 6. So all that's changing is the decimal point. So each time the decimal point is moving on one place. So here we'll still have 1, 4, 3, 5, 6, and the decimal point would be at the end, but we don't write a decimal point at the end, do we? We just assume that it's there. And then at this end we would have 1, 4, 3, 5, 6. Now the decimal point is here, so we'll want it here in this box. And that's that question. Question 2. A ball of string is 15 metres long. For an art lesson, each member of Year 5 needs 23 centimetres of string. There are 30 children in the class. How much string will be left after the lesson? Give your answer in metres. So this is very important. We've got to give our answer in metres. Before I begin, I want to work out how much string has been used. So there are 30 children in the class, and they're going to use 23 centimetres each. So that's 30 lots of 23 centimetres. So let's work that out. It's the same as timesing by 3 and then adding a 0, isn't it? So 3 times 23 is 69. And then we add a 0 because it's not 3 times, it's 30 times. So 690 centimetres have been used. How much do we start off with? Well, we started off with 15 metres. Now, I cannot take centimetres away from metres. They have to be in the same units of measure. So I'm going to turn my 15 metres into centimetres. Now remember that 1 centimetre equals, let's do that again. 1 metre equals 100 centimetres. High voice, low voice. To get from low to high, we've got to multiply, because to get a bigger number, I'm going to have to multiply. And what am I multiplying by? 100. So now I'm going to times my 15 metres by 100, and it will give me 1500 centimetres. Now I can work out how much is left. So I started with 1500. I've used 690. So I'm going to take it away. Nothing take away nothing is nothing. Ten take away 9 is 1. 14 take away 6 is 8, and nothing take away nothing is nothing. So I have 810 centimetres left. But remember, the question wanted the answer in metres. So to turn that back into metres, I'm going from high to low. High number to a low number is dividing. And what am I going to divide it by? 100. So dividing it by 100, my decimal point is here. Count 1, 2. So it will be 8.2 meters and underline my answer. Question 3. Place these units of measure in the correct place in the Carroll diagram. So before we start, let's have a look what we're sorting. We want metric and imperial. So metric is what we use now, and imperial is things like inches and ounces and pounds that we used to use but we don't use anymore. And then we're looking for weight or length. So I'm going to go to the first one, kilogram. Is that weight or length? It's weight. Is it metric or imperial? It's metric. Mile. Weight or length? Well, it's length. Metric or imperial? Of course, it's imperial. Now, we do use miles, but it's not in divisions of 10, so it's not metric. Ounce. Is it weight or length? Well, it's weight. Is it metric or imperial? Well, now we use kilograms and grams, don't we? So ounce must be imperial. And that just means it's the method of measuring we used to use. So let's just cross my mile and my ounce out. Centimetre. Is it weight or length? Well, it's length. Is it metric or imperial? What we use now or old-fashioned? It's metric. Millimetre. Weight or length? Well, it's length. Metric or imperial? It's metric. Grams. Weight or length? Well, it's weight. Metric or imperial? Metric. Inch. Weight or length? Well, it's length. Metric or imperial? Imperial. Kilometre. Weight or length? It's length. Metric or imperial? It's metric. Milligrams. Weight or length? Well, it's weight. Metric or imperial? Well, it's a form of gram, isn't it? It's a thousandth of a kilogram, so it's metric. Calculate the volume of this shape. Well, volume is length times breadth times height, or the area of the end, length times width, times its height. So we could either find this area and then times it by this, or find this area and times it by that. It doesn't matter, as long as we times all the three measurements together. So we want 19.4 times 16 times 8. So the first thing I'm going to do is times 16 by 8. You could do them in any order, it's just I think this is going to be the easiest. So I'm going to do 16 times 8 first, because I can't write a sum with 3 numbers being multiplied. It's too difficult. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 1 is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I've got 128 times 19.4. So let's try that. 128. Actually, I'm going to do this again. Question 4. Calculate the volume of this shape. Well, volume, what happened there? Volume is length times width times height, or the area, which is length times width, times height. Now I've got some tricky numbers here. I've got 19.4, 16 and 8. So I think what I'll do first is the 19.4 times 16. Now remember, when we've got decimal numbers, I'm just going to write it out like this first, and then I'm going to times that answer by 8. So when I've got a decimal number, I just write out my sum as if the decimal doesn't exist, because I'm going to deal with the decimal places afterwards. So I'm just going to write it out as 194, it's just easier. Right, so this is a long multiplication, so we're going to start with the tens, so 0 down. And since it's just 1 timesing it, obviously it'll be 194. Now we're going to deal with the 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 9 is 54, 55, 56. I'm just going to cross that out so I know I've used it. And 6 times 1 is 6, add 5 is 11. Cross that out so I know I've used it. Now we're going to add the two numbers together. Nothing add 4 is 4. 4 add 6 is 10. 9 and 1 is 10. Add 1 is 11. And 1, 2, 3. So we'll make that 0 look a bit better. Now, I've got 3104. And we started with one digit behind the decimal point. So we need one digit and then decimal point. Oops. Now I'm going to times my 310.4 by 8. Remember, I'm going to leave the decimal point out, because I'll put that in later. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times nothing is nothing, add 3. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. And we had one number after the decimal point, so I want my decimal point there. So my answer is 2,483.2. And remember the units for volume, centimetres cubed. And underline the answer. Question 5, write 463 grams in kilograms. So let's start with 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. Now I am here. I'm here. High, low. I want to go from high to low. To go from high to low, we need to divide. And we're going to divide by the 1,000. Right, so here we've got 463. So if I write my 463 here a bit bigger, there's no decimal point, which means it must be here at the end. If I divide by 1,000, I'm going to go backwards 1, 2, 3 places. So my decimal point starts here and it goes, oops, it goes 1, 2, 3. So my answer is 0.463 kilograms.